Hello everyone, welcome to the next lecture in the nutrition series. Today we're going to be talking about minerals, i.e. our non-organic molecules. So what are minerals? Minerals are inorganic micronutrients required in small amounts that are essential for normal function. There are two main types. Those are your macrominerals, such as calcium, phosphorus, magnesium, sodium, potassium, chloride, and sulfur, and your trace minerals, i.e. ones that you need in very small amounts, like iron, copper, zinc, selenium, iodine, manganese, and chromium. Take note, the trace minerals is for deficiencies. You can obviously improve your health or optimize it with higher doses of the trace minerals. So why do these actually matter? Minerals are needed in nearly all of your physiological processes. As I'm sure you know, calcium is important for bones, teeth, and joint generation. Um, Sodium, potassium, magnesium are important for muscle contraction, and then naturally others are important for mitochondrial function, DNA synthesis, hormone function, immunity, antioxidant effects, and a whole host of other things. So let's start off with calcium. It's the most abundant mineral in the human body. It is needed for bone and tooth formation, muscle contraction, nerve transmission, blood clotting, cell signaling, and cardiac rhythm maintenance. And deficiency in calcium can cause osteopenia and osteoporosis, muscle cramps, tetany, poor bone density, and an increased risk of fractures. Calcium levels are especially important as one gets older. Calcium and vitamin D typically go together, as vitamin D helps the absorption of calcium. Magnesium is used in more than 300 enzymatic reactions in your body, so very important. It functions as a ATP producer, helps with muscle relaxation. It's important for nervous system regulation, such as taking magnesium glycine before bed for relaxing. It's important for glucose control, regulation of blood pressure, as well as protein synthesis, sleep quality, and DNA repair. It is one of the most common minerals that actually has deficiencies in people. Deficiency in magnesium can cause things like poor sleep, anxiety, cardiac arrhythmias, hypertension, general feelings of fatigue, and muscle twitching. Sodium is a very key important electrolyte, along with potassium. Sodium functions for fluid balance in your body, so there's blood pressure regulation, muscle contraction, and nerve transmission. If you have too little sodium, it can cause headaches, seizures, weakness, and confusion, although those are more in your severely hyponatremic people. And too much sodium can cause hypertension or fluid retention. Potassium, another electrolyte, it functions for blood pressure regulation and muscle contraction, cardiac activity, nerve transmission, and it helps balance out the effects of sodium. Um, Deficiency in potassium can cause a feeling of muscle weakness, arrhythmias, fatigue, and even constipation. Iron. Iron is important for oxygen transport. It's needed for hemoglobin production, oxygen transport, myoglobin in your muscle. It's important for energy metabolism and cognitive performance. Deficiency in iron can cause things like hair loss, poor exercise performance, fatigue, dyspnea, which is shortness of breath, anemia, and can even cause poor concentration. Zinc. Zinc is critical for immunity and repair. Its functions are for testosterone production, wound healing, immunity, protein synthesis, and DNA replication. Deficiency in zinc causes poor wound healing, hair loss, symptoms of low testosterone, such as fatigue, low immunity, and acne. Phosphorus functions for ATP production, bone formation, DNA and RNA synthesis, cell membrane formation, and maintaining your acid-base balance throughout your body. Deficiency in phosphorus can cause weakness, bone pain, and muscle dysfunction. Iodine is essential for the production of your thyroid hormones. It's needed to produce T3 and T4. Therefore, indirectly, it is also essential for metabolism control, because being hypothyroid can cause weight gain, hyperthyroid can cause weight loss. It's important for your brain development and body temperature regulation. So deficiency in iodine can cause things like goiter, fatigue, weight gain, obviously hypothyroidism, and all the symptoms that go with that, and also can cause developmental delays in children. Selenium is a powerful antioxidant in your glutathione peroxidase system. It functions for antioxidant defense, thyroid function, and immunity, and protects from oxidative stress. Deficiency in selenium leads to lowered immunity, increased oxidative damage, and inefficient thyroid function. Copper, which I'm sure you might have heard by now, is a bit in the cultural zeitgeist at the moment. It functions for metabolism of your iron. You cannot absorb iron if you do not have enough copper. It helps for collagen synthesis, especially in your joints and your skin and hair. Hence why it is now being used in the form of the copper peptide, GHKCU. Nervous system support, red blood cell production, and antioxidant enzymes. Deficiency in copper can cause things like anemia, fatigue, poor connective tissue integrity, and neuropathy. So if someone still has iron deficiency anemia, even though they have been on iron treatment for a while, check their copper level. Chromium helps with insulin function and supports glucose metabolism. Fluoride helps for dental remineralization, tooth enamel protection, and mild regeneration thereof, and helps prevent dental caries. The most commonly deficient minerals that people have are magnesium, potassium, iron, zinc, iodine, calcium, and selenium. And the reason deficiencies happen is normally because of highly processed diets with low variability of food, i.e., people eating the same thing day in, day out, not really changing it very much. Many minerals come from vegetables and fruits, so low vegetable and fruit intake can cause deficiencies. Poor soil quality that the food is grown in can even cause deficiencies, although this is a bit less important now. Overly restrictive dieting, gastrointestinal disorders, heavy sweating. Heavy sweating is more for your potassium and your magnesium and your sodium, your electrolytes. Chronic illnesses because of decreased absorption over long periods. And then certain medications like PPIs, diuretics, and metformin can influence the absorption of your minerals from your diet. So what are some of our best foods we can have for these? A food first approach is typically the best choice for most people. So for animal sources, uh, eggs, fatty fish like sardines are very, very nice. Beef, liver, Greek yogurt, shellfish. Then plant sources, your dark leafy greens, legumes, seeds, potatoes, bananas, and avocados. And then that brings us to the term bioavailability. What does that mean? Bioavailability is the availability of substances to actually be used by your body. So, me taking 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C does not necessarily mean I use all 1,000 milligrams. Maybe I only get 500 milligrams absorbed, and then of those 500 absorbed, I only have 200 bioavailable. So not all minerals are equally absorbed. A lot of plant foods contain phytic acid, which can bind minerals and reduce their absorption. And there are ways to improve absorption, such as fermentation, which lowers phytic acid content in food, soaking legumes can make them easier for digestion. So, soaking beans, soaking lentils before cooking. And vitamin C with meals can help, especially for iron absorption. And having plants paired with animal proteins can help balance out the sort of mineral ratios. So practically, how does a diet first approach work? You should have, ideally, 2 to 3 servings of dairy or a calcium equivalent daily, 2 servings of fruit daily, 500 to 800 grams of vegetables daily, 1 serving of legumes, and nuts and seeds. Have an adequate protein intake, include seafood 1 to 2 times a week, and use iodized salt. There's a reason salt has been iodized, because many people are deficient in iodine because they don't eat enough seafood. So don't be afraid to buy iodized table salt, please. And that is essentially minerals. Thank you for listening.